Yeah?
Are we recording?
We're recording now. Do you need me not to record? I'll turn the recorder off. You can say it.
No, it's okay. I'll tell you later.
Will you remember?
If you remind me.
Remind me to remind Mike what he
Yes.
was supposed to remember.
Remind me to remind Mike what it was.
Welcome back to the podcast. We are just these guys, and I am Lance.
And I am Mike. How's your week been?
Always eventful around here.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing I can talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a benefit of our occupations. I was telling Dawn just the other day, as she was sharing something about her work, that honestly I didn't even want to hear.
We
Is
can
that-
edit that out later if you want.
No, it's okay. She knows. I never share anything with her about work. I'm talking about church work because I have so many things that I just am not.
At liberty.
I'm at liberty, right, to share. But I just throw everything in there. When I leave there, I leave there. Until somebody calls me. But I just don't share anything to the point to where there are things that she should know about. Like an event going on or something. She never finds out about it from me. Always from somebody else.
Didn't I tell you?
So Nancy knows that she needs to keep Dawn informed. So, how's your week been? Yeah, fine. Anything interesting? Not that I can talk about. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
True for both of us, really. What the heck are we doing a podcast for?
I don't know. Because we're just a couple of guys who are idiots.
Sure.
The comedian I sent you the clip of last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
He went to a psychologist to get assessed for Alzheimer's, and the psychologist stopped about halfway through and said, you don't have Alzheimer's. I figured that out. Well, how do you know that? Because all this testing right here is showing me you're an idiot.
You got idiotism.
That's all this is.
That's
You're just a
all.
big idiot.
That's your only problem. Not sure that can be solved.
There's. It's fun in our world, but
It really is. And this is a good cup. It really isn't coffee, is it?
No.
Is there, at this point, is there no coffee in it whatsoever?
I don't know because I'm not up there doing this whole Starbucks routine for you.
What?
I grab a K-cup of cappuccino, caramel cappuccino,
Okay.
throw it in the machine.
Yeah.
When it gets done, the K-cup is empty.
Mm-hmm.
So with mine, there's coffee grounds left in the K-cup.
Oh, yeah. Well, then there's no coffee.
So I don't know actually what's in there. 'Cause every time I look, the cup's empty afterwards. I'm afraid to open it up beforehand.
Yeah. So my priority obviously is not the hype of the caffeine. It's the taste. So
No,
I like it. And the dollop of whipped topping or whatever that is always adds to it. So thank you very much.
and part of the reason I did start drinking coffee so many years ago is because I will chug stuff that I enjoy, Pepsi,
Oh, yeah.
cappuccinos. I'll chug them.
Yep.
They'll just be gone in minutes. So
Yep.
I don't actually, my body doesn't actually desire or need that much fluid or sugar. So I get the coffee or the water because I'm
Yeah.
not going to chug it.
That reminds me of my good buddy, Mr. Brown, Todd Brown. He's my buddy in Kauai.
Oh,
A regular listener, by the way. And he used to.
aloha, brother.
Aloha, brother. We lived in the same place here in Wichita, and he used to buy 2 liters of Mountain Dew. And he didn't bother with a glass. He would chug straight from the Mountain Dew. And a lot of times he would down a Mountain Dew in one shot.
You can do that.
Yeah. One shot, two shots. And you want to talk about a massive amount of caffeine and liquid. We were always just amazed. It was like a stupid human trick. Talk about, Brownie, I love you. But talk about, you're an idiot.
Oh, see something funny?
Yeah.
Buy Brownie a Mountain Dew.
My heart would have exploded and my gut. But yeah, that's what that reminded me of.
Brownie, never stop drinking Mountain Dew without medical attention.
Yeah, do not go cold turkey.
Your head will explode.
I don't even know if he does drink Mountain Dew anymore, but yeah. So, aloha. It's a little early for him right now, but
Well, this may be a shorter podcast today. I will show you something new. I don't know that it'll make it into the podcast,
go for it.
but I'll show you something new I figured out.
Mm-hmm. By the way, real quick, but can I interrupt you? How about those Lions? Did you wonder if I was going to bring that up?
Well, this is my brain, your brain. I was wondering if you're going to bring it up, and then I got to thinking that there's a certain segment of the population that tune into this every week, and they will be kind of in on the whole discussion.
Sure.
But then there's a majority, as this podcast is growing, there's a majority who are starting at 1.
Right.
So they're going to hit this podcast
Yeah.
February.
This is old news.
What? Lions.
Well, for those of you who are hanging right along with the ride, you know last week that I predicted that the Detroit Lions would beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I had one factor wrong. I thought the game was in Detroit, but that makes my prediction even a little more, I don't know what word to use. It's because it's not amazing. This is just a prediction. It makes it a little more relevant because it just shows you where Detroit is. And I know that the Chiefs were missing Kelsey, but they're going to have a rough go. They have every team, let's put it this way, every team, even more so than seasons past, they're going to give them their best because they know a little bit more. They know a little bit. They got another season of film to watch. They got another season of, and you still have Andy Reid, and it's so hard to repeat. It is so hard to repeat. I don't know when the last time was. It's been a while.
And if anybody can do it, they can. I mean,
absolutely. And I'm a Chiefs fan.
They're kind of like the Patriots now. You just expect they're going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean anything to anybody. It was an off game.
Well, we expect it, but that don't make it easy. And the reality is that there's a whole lot of Chiefs fans right now that are still thinking their whole season is lost. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's going to be tough. And the Lions, more than anything else, I'm saying, watch out for the Lions. When they win the Super Bowl this year, there's your prediction.
Yeah.
When they win the Super Bowl, you can. For those of you who are just catching up, you will see it just had happened.
Well, that's not even the prediction, and that's just the wild throw the dart at the board.
Yeah.
Hope it hits.
Well, I don't have any money on it.
But the prediction, though, that is eye-opening, though, is your prediction that the Chiefs are going to have a rough go of it this year.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I don't see that at all. So I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right. My gut is telling me.
Well, see, that's what you said about the Detroit game.
It's going to be tough.
I was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
and the thing is, I don't bet because I just don't. I know darn well that if I put money on something, I'm going to lose. And it's not my money anyway. So I just don't bet it. I wouldn't bet your money. Why would I bet God's money?
yeah.
That's just that's how I live. It's not a holier than thou kind of statement. It's just it's the way I live my life. I need to be a little more frugal in other areas. I want to be.
Well, that does bring up an interesting topic. I saw this presentation by a gentleman years ago. He was a pastor out of a small church on the north side of the Dallas-Fort Worth complex, and small, teeny tiny church. And John, and stop me if you heard this, John was on the board of the church, and one day John called the pastor to meet him for lunch downtown Dallas, top of the skyscraper spinning restaurant, and he gets up there and he's looking at the menu, and steaks are $80, $90, and he's like, don't even look at the menu, just order what you want. We're gonna have a nice lunch, just you and me. And what John did is he turned to the pastor and said, I make a lot of money, but I don't know the people. You work with the people and you need money. So here's what we're going to do. And he hands him a checkbook and says, I've established a pastor's discretion fund. And I put $5,000 in there. So when you're working with the people, whenever you see a need, you write them a check. You take care of it. And every quarter we'll meet here. You'll show me what you're spending my money on, and we'll have a nice lunch and we'll have a good time. And he said, wow. So, every day he would get up every morning, get his keys, get his wallet, and get John's checkbook, put it in his pocket. And he'd walk around all day looking, listening. And whenever he saw, he says, I can remember the first time I bought a single mother a washer and a dryer. And the first time I got a 16-year-old a bus ticket to go back to her parents. He says, I remember those things. And every day I'm looking, what can I do with John's money? What can I do with John's money? And he says, I kept that checkbook down to the penny. He said, mine, kind of floats a little bit here or there. And then he said, every quarter we sit down and talk, and I would show him, I bought this and I bought that. And he said, some of the stories, John would just keep eating and say, yeah, that's nice. He said, but then some of the stories, John would just sit back and scream in the restaurant, hallelujah. And he said, I took note of those stories.
Yeah.
Do more of those.
Yeah.
And he said, over the course of time, he and John developed a really close friendship, relationship. And John was older and had kids of his own, so he would ask him for advice about how to raise his kids, and they eventually ended up doing other things together, going into prisons together, doing a ministry. And he said, this is a true story, but it's also metaphorical. Because all this stuff we have is not ours, it's God's, and it's God's money, and he's entrusting it to us. And, the parable about, why, the talents. One guy got 1 talent, he went and buried it, and the other guy got 3, and he went and invested it. And the master was more pleased with the one who invested than the one who squirreled it away.
Right.
Definitely would not have been happy with the guy that went and bought beer with it.
Sure.
But he said, as I walked around every day thinking about what am I going to do with this blessing John has given me to bless other people, that helped me start to develop a deeper relationship with John. And he said, well, that is exactly how I see our relationship with God. We've been blessed with these talents, treasure, time. And what are we doing every minute of every day with the talents and treasures and times we've been blessed with? Where are we investing that in God's kingdom? What are we doing with the stuff that we have? And I was remember sitting back after reading that or watching that, just going, wow, what am I doing with all the time and talent?
Yep.
Little treasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I've been blessed with. Am I using it to, enrich my life? Am I using it to please other people for another day? Or am I investing? Am I listening to what gets God excited that I do or spend or buy and am I trying to do more of that?
Thanks for sharing that. That was good. As you were telling me this, I was thinking, okay, because there's a lot of stuff. Well, I shouldn't say that. That sounds. There are things that I could share. And I suppose in the past I would have thought I didn't want it to come across wrong. So what I was doing was worrying too much about what other people think. So,
Fundamental number 1, fundamental number 3, fundamental number 4, all wrapped up in a pancake right there.
Yep. And have you noticed at all that I'm getting a little better?
Oh yeah, I'm listening. The hesitations, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're trying to think it through.
Yeah, I'm
in
processing
a
it. Yep.
way.
Yes, instead of just not even
Right.
starting. So I'm getting better. Still mindful, but getting better. So yesterday, I'm just going to tell this story. Yesterday, there's a gentleman who is homeless. He's been homeless for about 4 years, believe it or not, here in Wichita. And he has been able to get some funds to be able to get off the street. He had a place that he had secured. He needed about $60. Now, understand, I always tell, and I always go into situations with my eyes open. I've been around the block for a couple of times. But he needed $60. So he's calling me. He tells me where he's at. I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to help you out with this, but I've been helping you out for a little while here, quite a bit here in the last couple of weeks. And this is you're going to need to stand up for a little while here. You got to understand, I try to help as many people as I can.
Sure.
And so I met him at Buffalo Park, and he was standing over in Buffalo Park, and I could see him from Mays Road. And so he sees me, and I wave at him, and I turn right into a parking lot.
Right.
So I turn right into a parking lot, and if you're from Wichita, it's just south of the Dillons. So we're at Central and Mays. I turn right into a parking lot, and I realize this is a daycare. And so it might not look real good in the parking lot of a daycare, me making an exchange with somebody, but it was going to happen quick, not a big deal. And so I turn around in the lot, and now I'm facing back out. I'm facing the drive as I'm going out. He comes up to my side window, and I roll down the window. I hand him $60. He's very thankful. He's
Sure.
He's the kind of guy you want to help.
Sure.
And so give him the $60. He takes off walking, heading south on Mays Road because he's got to go to Maple and West. But anyway, I pull out and I take off and I go to the church. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call and it says no caller ID. So I don't remember exactly what I was doing. It wasn't that long ago. But, I was driving still. And so I didn't answer it.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I just don't typically answer no caller IDs. If they want to leave me a voicemail, that's great.
Yeah, I return a call all day long.
Absolutely. So I didn't answer it. And then he calls. And I was still driving. I didn't answer it. He can leave me a voicemail.
Yeah.
And so he leaves me a voicemail. I check the voicemail. Mike, can you answer your phone? The police saw you give me the money, and they think that something weird is going on, and they got me pulled over. and so I'm going, oh, boy.
No.
Yeah, how did you know? I'm like, oh, boy. And so I haven't called him back. I get another call. It was actually a 942 number.
Yeah.
And so I realized, okay, this is probably connected.
Sure.
Just the timing of it. And so I answer it, and here's on the other side of the line. Hey, Pastor Mike, this is AJ. So this is a police officer that I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so they've gone to Grace Point, and their family has gone to Grace Point. He says, as soon as he told me it was Pastor Mike, I realized he was probably telling the truth. And the question that I didn't ask was, did they see that, or did the daycare call us in? Yeah. So I'm going to call him back today and ask him that question. But yeah, we were laughing. It didn't look like a good situation, but I was just trying to manage the money well.
Daycare's got
God's
it on
money.
Their video camera system.
Yeah. As soon as I pulled it out, I thought, okay,
Local pastor does deal in parking lot at daycare.
Exactly. This has the potential of not looking very good. So anyway, that just reminded me to thought I'd share that.
No, that's good. And that's, I said early on in all of this that you don't talk about that side of your ministry a lot for whatever reason. I'm not going to ask the reason. I know you're a humble dude. But I know I will encounter you doing things like that nobody knows about.
Well, that's how it should be. So this is a one-off.
Give with your right hand so your left hand does not know.
Yeah, that's right.
But also to the people who are attending the church out there, this is where your money goes.
Well,
actually, you're
not all of it.
Well, I was going to say, actually, that was his money. He didn't go into the church and pull $60 out of the desk drawer and go drive down the street and give it to some dude. But this is the character, this is the man you're supporting, and this is the type of ministry he runs and encourages and wants us to go to get $60 out of your pocket and go help a neighbor. But, you won't do it, I'll do it. But give to the damn church.
Well,
10%, dime on a dollar. Shut up. God said, test me on this. See what happens. Try it.
I am a manager, and the monies that I do get paid in my role, I'm still a manager. It's God's, and we're very, very good at managing the money within the church. We take a dime and stretch it. And so it continues to give us opportunities to say yes to ministry opportunities, to do what Jesus encouraged us to do. When he separates us from sheep and goat.
I'm being rude in the way I'm speaking to people today.
They're used to it. Straight shooter.
Shut up. Hey, zip it.
Right.
Zip it.
Absolutely.
Zip it. But this is what people don't understand. I'm not encouraging people. I'm not yelling at people to give church money because the church needs or deserves money. And this isn't about the church at all. This isn't about the building. This isn't about Grace Point. This isn't about you giving money to somebody else or paying for services. I had a friend years ago who, when they first started to attend church, they would attend the sermon and the worship and everything. And then after all of that, he and his wife would sit there with their checkbook and decide what value they just got out of that sermon and then write the check. They were literally paying for a service.
Yeah, they were tipping. Just like at the end of a meal.
Right.
How good was the meal?
How good was the meal?
How good was the service?
And then that's what prompted them the amount they wrote on the check.
Mm-hmm.
Giving has nothing to do with the church.
Mm-hmm.
Giving has to do with who you going to trust.
Yep.
Are you going to put your trust in God like you say you do?
Well,
or are you going to put your trust in money? And you can't serve two masters. You can't chase money and material things and be serving God.
Yep.
Where God says, bring the first fruits into the house, bring the 10% in, and see if I don't open the storehouses of treasure upon you.
Yeah, floodgates.
Test me in this.
Yep.
And this, you choosing to give money, whether it's to Grace Point or to a TV ministry or whatever it is, but you making that decision to listen to what's in your heart, what God is telling you to do, and then to begin routine, regular donations up to at least 10%. And don't start with 10%, that'll break you. Start with 2%. Say, this is what we can do right now, and as we move forward, we'll try to expand that. But your relationship with God, he gives you the dollar bill. He allows you to have the dollar bill. He blesses you with the dollar bill. And all he's asking is, will you trust me with a dime?
It doesn't say in the church we trust.
No.
On the bill and done. In the pastor we trust.
And this is how you can, show that trust. And just like the true story, which is parable-ish that I opened this up with, this is a great way to develop that relationship with God is to get up every morning. He gave me a physical body, which I got something I want to show you. I didn't get the guy's permission, but, I'll ask for forgiveness later. But he gave me a physical body to do things with. What do you want me to do with my body today? You gave me intelligence and knowledge. What do you want me doing with that intelligence and knowledge today? You gave me money. What do you want me to do with that money today? How can I further your kingdom, spread the word? How can I serve other people today? And then you look for those opportunities to take the blessing he's given you and give just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
It's loosening the grip.
And to do it, you have to listen to him.
Yep.
Is this the place you wanted me to get? Is this the place? No. But how about this guy? Is this him? You have to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you're making these decisions, as you're thinking about this all day long, you're going to start conversing with the big guy. You're going to start developing that relationship. And as you and he develop that relationship, my cup overfloweth. I have more than I need.
Yep.
He will take care of it. But faith without deeds is no faith at all. If you don't show him the trust, you say you got faith in me, give me a dime. Well, I don't know about that. Okay, do you really have faith?
And if you don't have faith or you don't have trust, do you really have a relationship?
Right.
Because there's no relationship that's worth anything at all that's not built on trust. So it has to be built on that right there.
Yeah.
Faith and trust.
If I say I'm going to be there
Yep.
and I'm not there,
Yep. Well, one of the things that
my relationship is going to fail.
Yeah. One of the things that I said this last Sunday was that it's not just about belief. That anybody can say they believe. Even demons, it says in Scripture.
They believe.
They believe. Oh,
they
absolutely.
Believe.
And they trembled. They believed.
They believe.
Because they knew. And so it's not just about belief, but it's about faith. And faith is belief plus action. It's putting your belief into action. And this, listen, Jesus himself said it. He said, you cannot worship God and money at the same time. It can't be done. And so you got to watch out what it is that you're trusting in and what it is that you're putting your faith in.
Sure.
And be challenged, which I always try to combine challenged and encouraged, because that's what challenging is just being encouraged to get beyond where you're at, beyond your comfort zone, and trust in the one. It's his anyway. That's where this started. It's all his anyway. Why would we spend our whole entire lives struggling to trust in the one who gave it to us? So it's his. He has given it to us to manage.
Right.
And how are we doing?
Yeah.
So I always find it interesting where our conversations lead when we come in with no agenda.
No agenda. And here we just got passionate about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think about the difference. That's the deal. Right now, I'm putting a big push, and it's personal. It's personal to me because I want to see it so badly. And I trust that God is leading the way on this, but that we have a big push on growing the church. So growing the church spiritually. But you know what? Growing, you got to be there first. In order to grow spiritually within the community of God and family of God, you got to be there. Make yourself accessible to it. And so by putting this challenge on, the ultimate reason that we're doing this is not to get to heaven. We put our faith in Jesus and what he did for that. But it's to make a difference. It's to make an impact in this world before we look back and see that it's, okay, we had our season. It's like a football season. We had our time on the field. Mm-hmm. And when we retire and we move on, what kind of a difference did we make?
Sure.
And how many people are with us? It's kind of the whole goal, I keep saying, is to make heaven crowded.
Right.
But to also make a difference while we're here. So I have more passion and more energy right now than I've had in the last, I would say, 10 years easy.
Wow.
Yeah. So for a lot of different reasons. And I'll just say one of the reasons being this podcast has given me a dose of confidence to speak and to speak boldly.
Sure.
And so I appreciate this. Every week I appreciate this opportunity.
I'm at a loss for words because I think me, like everybody else who knows you, are kind of flabbergasted when you say that. They don't understand how much energy it takes out of you to do a 30-minute sermon on Sunday, and leading up to the sermon and then doing it and then the recovery. And so for you to find a new level, a second gear, and to be kind of taking off from here, it's just amazing to watch you do that, to see the excitement and the energy.
Well, I am definitely excited. I'm seeing what God is doing, and it doesn't get any better than that.
We had this discussion some months ago. People were like, "Hey, what medication is Mike on now?" There's a huge difference in you from February to now, from January to now, and that's what you're talking. Because I know everybody listening to this hasn't listened to every single episode, but the energy, the vitality, the that you're bringing to your life. Now I was going to say to the show, no, but you're bringing it to your life. I see it on Sundays. I see it in people's eyes when they talk about you and the encounter they had with you during the week. Yeah, it is noticeable. Everybody is noticing what you just said, that there's more excitement, energy, and passion.
Well, we're just getting started. That's the most exciting thing of all.
And for all of you out there, pray and ask, how can I help further the kingdom of God? And if you get the message, if you get the feeling, if you get the urge that is somehow to work with Grace Point in some capacity with your time, talent, and treasure, I'd give out your phone number, but I don't want it to blow up. But get a hold of the church. Walk in.
Yep.
There's usually a sign-up sheet for something at the information center.
Literally to this day, which is, I mean, we may have had some people think it, but I've never had anyone come up to me and tell me that, well, that was just a waste of my time. When you're involved in a ministry, wherever it is, that is following God, it is never a waste of time. You can just be guaranteed of that.
Sure.
And so your time, your talent, your treasure is well invested in anything like that. And Grace Point is following God.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's the difference in a prayer that we used to pray was, God, would you be willing to be a part of what we're doing? That's the most foolish prayer you can pray. And self-centered.
We're going to go do this. You want to join us?
Yep. That's a me, myself, and I prayer.
Yeah.
The prayer that we pray is, God, allow us to be a part of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And huge difference.
Sure.
And much greater opportunities. And so, yeah, we are getting a front row seat on the bus while he drives.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing. So if you find yourself looking for a greater purpose, join in. Find your seat. There aren't seatbelts on this bus.
Where we going to go with it?
Yeah, but it's okay. It's an adventure.
Okay, I want to show you something now that's not going to make it onto the podcast.
Do we need to wrap up?
Not yet. But it may make it onto the YouTube version of the podcast.
Ooh, here we go. Dang. You don't sit on a challenge.
Remember Marty McFly? That's exactly what you were thinking, weren't you?
I was like, oh, that
feedback coming in.
That sounds familiar. Oh, yeah.
figured out how to route
Oh,
the
that's
guitar through the
good.
soundboard. So,
That is awesome.
well, you had said that, you know, you wanted me to prove I could play. Now, I don't play well. In fact,
But you play a lot better than you used to.
I
with a
don't
lot of
even
hard work.
get to hear myself for 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
Sure.
I just have this thing unplugged, and
Yeah.
I'll be watching a television program. So I'm just doing fingering exercises. So I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get the speed and quality up to where when I do play it, because I want to play like Eddie Van Halen. I don't care about sitting around the campfire, you know, playing songs like.
If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? It's good. And we just got knocked off of
Spotify said, "You're out of here." And I learned a song
Good job.
just for you
Shep,
years ago.
hit me with it.
You said, "I wonder if we could play that in the church."
Mm-hmm. Wonder.
I remember it.
I recognize it.
You recognize it?
Is this name that tune? Is that you got what I need? Just a friend. Oh, baby, you got what I need. You say you're just a friend. You say you're just a friend. Oh, baby, you. Yeah.
And this one, you and I had watched the video, and we could not figure out how in the heck he played this, especially while he jumps around like a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can. Very nervous when you watch me play.
ACDC, right? I can't sing. Can't remember the words, but I can remember the basic.
Well, I'm going to say you don't want to sing the
She
words.
hates me. Chef Lappin hates me. La 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 la.
Okay.
Oh.
See, that's where I
That's-
want to be. I can't.
But you're getting there. That's the key. It's about the journey. What are the first words? Time moves on. Little time.
Tuesday's gone.
Tuesday's gone with the wind. That's good. Now, here's what I appreciate about you is you are putting the work in, but you're putting the work in, even that little pull up with your ring finger and your, of course, your, opposite hand, but your ring finger and your pinky. Doing that because you're reading tabs and you're playing it right. I have always just muffled my way through close. And a lot of times you can get there quicker just by getting close. But to play it right and to get there and playing it right, that's to be commended.
Yeah, I watched Roger on Sunday, and for those of you who don't know Roger, our church lead guitarist.
Yeah.
He literally his quality. He's like Eddie Van Halen. I mean, he can play at that level, and he does. And
Well, he started playing.
I know.
Like a year ago.
I know, but that's we were talking about
60.
tired to inspire.
Yep.
He's in his 60s and he plays like a 19-year-old.
Yep.
And he's up there fiddling with the buttons and the knobs, and when
Yep.
it's just a few chords, that's his part. He makes it into something else standing
Sure.
back there.
Yeah.
But I told you I was going to show you something.
That's cool.
See if you remember this. I'm shaky. I was nervous playing in front of you. Where is it at? Here it is. Tired to Inspired.
Yep.
This is my inspiration. I introduced you to him Monday. Yeah. I was wrong. He's not in his 70s. He's 82.
82.
82, folks. 82.
Climbing fences.
Climbing fences. Cut. You know what he was doing that morning? We got home from church. He had mowed 6 lawns, and he was heading to a neighbor's house to cut down a tree to haul it off to the dump for them. Once he got done with all of that, he was going to run a car up to Chicago and get back. And he was pretty happy because he got all his lawn mowing knocked out of the way for the week. So he can go fishing at 4 a.m. every morning. Got a truck, pulls his boat out, takes it out to the lake, fishes.
Man, you don't get to 82 looking like that because you're tired.
Right.
It's because you're inspired.
He is my inspiration.
Yep.
He is my, daily working out, getting in better health, better shape, eating right.
That's good.
82.
Yep.
And he's climbing a privacy fence to unlock it routinely on purpose. Dude, use the garage code. I ain't got time for that. It's easier to just climb the damn thing.
Oh, that's awesome. 82. I love it.
So, yeah, people like Roger inspire me with what they're doing with their talents even at this point in their life where most people are sitting down talking about the glory days.
Sure.
Back in my day, I used to play guitar. No, Roger's on the stage, killing it, knocking knocking it out of the park every Sunday, every Friday, every Saturday.
Well, we'll wrap it up with this, unless you got something else. Think about it. In a good football game, if the team goes into halftime and they come out of the half uninspired, what happens? They're going to lose.
Yeah.
No matter what the score is, they're going to lose. The second half is the most important half. Why wouldn't we consider the second half of our lives the most important half?
We've always looked at the second half as the down years, the decline, the depends wearing, push me in the wheelchair,
Right.
wipe my butt kind of years.
Yeah.
And people like this guy
Yep.
and Roger
Yep.
have shown me these next 40 years can be better
Absolutely.
than the last 40.
And it's all your mindset. What's your expectation?
Sure.
How are you going to approach it? What are you going to do with it? I think about my father-in-law. He's 87 years old. Looks great. Doesn't just look great. He is active. He's constantly on the go. And I'm thinking, 87, okay. I'm about to turn 56. That's another little life right there.
Yeah.
That's second half. Let's go.
And these men show us the trajectory can be upward.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I was talking with a lady in the church just Sunday. She said, I'm 80 years old and I'm ready to get going. She 80. And now she was talking about, I don't exercise. I don't eat right. I don't this and that. She was a tiny little thing. But 80, 80 used to be, think about how old 80 used to be.
yeah, no, I do. My grandparents.
It's funny
I
how
look at them.
the closer you get to it.
My parents didn't make it out of their 60s. A lot of my mother's family didn't make it out of their 60s. My grandparents, I think, made it into their 80s, but it was the prototypical, kind of decline there at the end into the 70s and stuff. So
Yep.
seeing that these things, they show me it's possible.
Right.
Now, how do I get from where I'm at with my guitar to where Roger is? Daily practice.
You got to put the work in. Yep.
How do I get from where I'm at physically and mentally to where Larry is?
Mm-hmm.
Daily working out, daily activity, daily, keeping my mind fresh, goals.
Yep.
If I accomplish something, what's the next thing to accomplish? And just that constant movement, being inspired to do the next thing.
Yep.
And if you can combine that with God's purpose for your life,
Mm-hmm.
You're on
Look
fire.
out.
You're
Yeah.
on fire.
Look out.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed looking at Mike for most of this day today. Something happened to the other camera and it dropped out. So you get to...
There could be worse things.
And for those of you on the podcast, you don't care because you're not looking at us anyway.
Right.
So we hope you had a good time listening to us today. We are Just These Guys. Catch us on any podcast wherever you get them. Catch our videos on the YouTube channel. We are on Facebook. Go there, like and click. And it's the word of web. Take a moment. And I say this at the end because people at the beginning, you're here. You're a trooper. You've hung on this far.
Woo.
Take another minute to share this podcast with somebody else.
Yep. Thank you. Have an awesome week.
We'll see you.